Yao Guang is the first character of 4.0, the first character of the Path of Elation, and the first character who I told.
Wanna see you peacock.
Yao Guang is a 5-star physical elation character whose kit is all about buffing and dealing elation damage with a hint of debuffing. Starting out with her not so basic attack, Whistle Bolt Sings Joy. It's a blast type attack, dealing 90% of her attack to the main target and 30% of her attack to adjacent targets. It also gives 30 energy instead of the normal 20 for blast type basic attacks. Her skill, Decalite Unveils All, deploys a zone for 3 turns. Duration goes down at the start of Yao Guang's turns. This zone increases the elation of all ally units by 20% of Yao Guang's elation. It also grants 3 punchlines when using her basic attack or skill. Now this is where things get kinda goofy. When Yao Guang uses her ultimate, Hexagram of Feathered Fortune, she gains 5 punchlines. Aha will immediately take an extra turn, triggering an Aha Instant. Aha Instant is a new mechanic for the Path of Elation characters that allows them to use their elation skills and deal elation damage. This extra turn takes 20 punchlines into account. It's a fixed amount and doesn't matter if you have more or less. This extra turn will also not consume punchline, while also giving the team a 20% all-type res pen for 3 turns. During an Aha Instant, Yao Guang will use her elation skill, Let Thy Fortune Burst in Flames, to apply the Woe's Whisper to all enemies for 3 turns. Woe's Whisper increases damage enemies take by 16%. This also deals physical elation damage equal to 100% to all enemies. After the initial attack, Yao Guang will deal physical elation damage equal to 20% to a random target 5 times. For her talent, it's when she has Certified Banger. After allies use an attack, trigger the Great Boon effect, dealing 1 additional instance of 20% elation damage of the corresponding type, which is based on the allies' attack. So if they have fire, it'll deal fire damage. If it's quantum, it'll deal quantum elation damage. If a skill point was used for the attack, deal an additional instance of Great Boon. Additionally, if the character triggers Great Boon has lower elation than Yao Guang, the elation damage will scale off of her elation, not the allies. Great Boon does not count as using an attack. So the great thing to note about this talent for Great Boon, it doesn't matter if the character is an elation character or not. So you can still use her in non-elation teams, which is very important, which we'll get into that later in the video. It's very important to know when she comes out, and she's the only elation character we have access to. Now her technique. Upon entering battle, trigger her skill without using a skill point. While in team, destructible objects grant Fortune Pouch, which can gain up to 8 within a week. Now for her Ascension traces and stat bonuses, her A1, Amaze and Grace, when Yao Guang's speed is 120 or higher, increase her elation by 30%. Each point exceeding 120 speed further increases elation by 1%, capping at 200 excess speed. And then her A2, Poised and Sated, increases her crit damage by 60%, also recovering 1 skill point after using elation skill. And then for her final Ascension trace, her A3, Felicity Ensemble. When Yao Guang gets Certified Banger, it increases the duration by 1 turn. And then for her stat bonuses, she gets 18.7% crit rate, 9 speed, and 10% elation. Next up for her Eidolons, her E1 increases the amount of punchline factored into the ult-triggered Aha instant to 40 instead of 20, so doubling it, and the elation damage dealt by allies ignores 20% of the enemy's defense in this ult-triggered Aha instant. So her E1 is used for buffing her damage and the team's damage when you have more elation characters on the team. Her E2 increases all allies' speed by 12% and the elation by 16% while the zone is up, which is going to be really helpful with hitting those speed thresholds for her Ascension Trace 1. And then her E3, it's just a skill level +2, basic attack level +2, and then her elation skill level +1. For her E4, during Aha's turn, triggered by the ultimate, damage dealt by elation skills becomes 150% of the original damage. And then for her E5, it's ult level +2, talent level +2, elation skill +1. And then last but not least, her E6. Allies elation damage Mary makes by 25% and also increases the multiplier of her elation skill by 100% of the original damage multiplier. And then for those who may not know or don't remember, Mary Make affects elation's damages, special effects, and can boost elation damage dealt. Next up, let's go over her build. So for relic stats, we're going to go over the main stats real quick, which for the chest, you're going to probably want crit rate because she builds up her own crit damage pretty well with that Ascension 2, giving her 60% crit damage. For boots, you're going to want speed because she really wants that speed. She wants to go fast. She wants to go fast to hit hard. And for her orb, she wants HP percent because she doesn't really benefit from attack or damage percent because elation damage doesn't scale off damage percent. So HP percent just to make her survive more. And then for her rope, she's going to want energy regen so she can keep using her ult as much as possible. And for substats, you're looking to try and get speed and then crit rate and crit damage. Again, you want speed for that Ascension passive, and then crit rate, crit damage just to buff her damage as well. Now for the relic sets themselves, her best in slot is going to be Diviner of Distant Reach. The 2-piece increases her speed by 6%, and then the 4-piece buffs her crit rate by 10 or 18% when her speed reaches 120 or 160 respectively. An alternative you can use is 4-piece Hackerspace. It's not ideal, but it works. 2-piece also increases speed by 6%, and then the 4-piece buffs the team's speed by 12% for 1 turn when using her ultimate. You could also opt for a 2-piece speed set. So if you wanted to, you could run 2-piece Diviner of Distance Reach and 2-piece Hackerspace. That's worst case scenario, but it will work if you have the substats for it. And then for planner sets, we've got 2-piece Lashaka, kind of being her best in slot right now. It increases her ER by 5% and then buffs the front character's attack by 12% as long as the equipper is not in that first slot. And so we've got 2-piece Von Whack, which also increases energy regen by 5%. And then when speed is at 120 or more, which she should be, action advances by 40% at the start of battle just to get her skill off right away, just to kind of use it again to build up those punchline stacks. And then last but not least, not ideal, but it does work fine, is Broken Keel. Buffs crit damage for the team by 10% as long as your effect res is at least 30%. Moving on to the light cones, obviously her best in slot is going to be her signature, When She Decided to See. Increases her speed by 18%, buffs crit rate by 10%, and crit damage by 30% after using her ult, while also buffing her energy regen by 12% after using the ult as well. And then it also gives 15 energy at the start of each wave. So really just is perfect for her. Obviously it's signature, so it's tailor-made to her. But if you don't get it, you can also use Mushy Shroomies Adventure. It is a 4-star. It increases the elation by 12% and then buffs elation damage dealt by the team by 6% after using an elation skill. So again, obviously big difference between the two, but if you don't get the light cone, this will do the job just good. It just makes building her a lot harder, unfortunately. Now, last and arguably most important section of the video, we're going to be talking team comps. I'm going to give a free-to-play, low spender, and premium team. For free-to-play, we're going to have Yao Guang, obviously, and then Archer as our DPS. He's free-to-play because he was given out for free. Dan PT, because again, he was also given out for free. And then our last slot's going to be Pella or Ruan Mei, just because Pella's a 4-star, so she's quite easily accessible as long as you've been playing the game for a bit. You should have her E6, but even at E0, she's going to be good because her ult gives that defense shred, and that's really just what we're looking for. And you can also put her on Pearls of Sweat to give an additional defense shred. And then Ruan Mei is free to play if you use that currency that we get every 6 months. You can redeem it for a 5-star character. So you can have access to her, and she's just valuable because she gives a speed buff, and then she does do res pen as well. Now for low spenders, which is going to be your battle pass and your express pass holders, you're going to have Yao Guang, Archer, Dan PT, and then Sparkle or Tribby. And Tribby's just crazy strong, so you probably pulled her at some point. Unless you're me, where I don't have Tribby on my main account, so in my case, it would be Sparkle. But, if you have Tribby, she might be better for you in this team because she's a team-wide buffer. And then for best in-slot team, this is going to have a caveat, which I will explain after. Yao Guang, Sparkle, Dan PT, and Sparksy. Now, obviously, the caveat being Sparksy won't be released when Yao Guang comes out, but that will be the premium team for Yao Guang. That will be the best team that she will have in 4.0. So because it's in the same version, I'm going to count it, make an exception. So that's just kind of, my thought on it. But again, just to recap, Yao Guang is going to be a sub DPS, more of a buffer for Elation teams, allowing you to trigger Aha instance with her ultimate and giving you some skill points and just buffing the damage dealt by Elation skills and just buffing the team's damage overall with the Great Boon effect. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys pulling for Yao Guang, or are you just going all in on Sparksy? Let me know what you guys think about Elation and version 4.0 as a whole down in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe for more content similar to this. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time.